In this question, we have a particle of mass m projected vertically upwards. It's going in this direction. It's going to be force bringing it back down, mg. And there's also another force bringing it back down in this question, 0.098 v squared. Now we can get them both in terms of g here maybe. So 9.8 divided by 1 to 100 v squared, so we have gv squared over 100, and mgv squared over 100 will be the force bringing it down, and also mg, because this is associated with the particle. And then we're asked to calculate time, so we're going to use dv dt here if we're dealing with time and acceleration. So force is equal to ma, so my forces are going to be negative, so minus mg minus mg v squared over 100 is equal to ma. We can divide by m and multiply by minus, so I'll say minus a is equal to g plus gv squared over 100. We're looking for time, so a is dv dt, so I'll just leave the minus in front. Minus dv dt is equal to, if I make this one fraction, it's going to be 100g plus gv squared over 100. I'll factor out the g as well. G times 100 plus v squared over 100 is equal to minus dv dt. So getting time on its own, we're going to have dv, put the minus here for now, minus dv over 100 plus v squared, so we're going to be using tan here, is equal to, the g is already there, and I'll bring the t over, so g over 100 dt. I'll bring the minus over to the right and just leave this one as positive. So we need to integrate both of these guys. Between where and where, we were given an initial speed of 120, and the highest point it will go to 0. So between the initial and 0 for my v, and starting at 0, we'll find the time. So integrating this, we're going to get 1 over 10 by the inverse tan of v over 10. You all know that by now, and that will be between 0 and 120. The 0 won't give me a value. This is going to be equal to minus g, and we'll bring up the t when we integrate, over 100 between t and 0. So we're going to get 1 over 10 by the inverse tan of 0, which is going to be 0 minus, so that hopefully will give us two positives, minus 1 over 10 by the inverse tan of 120 over 10, which is 12, will be equal to minus gt over 100. If we multiply by 100, we're going to get 10 tan 12. 10 by the inverse tan of 12 even. 10 by the inverse tan of 12 will be equal to, we can make the both positive on the line here, gt. So if I divide that by g, I'll get t, hopefully. 10 times the inverse tan of 12 over g is giving me t equal 1.518 seconds. The nearest tenth, I think. To the nearest tenth of a second. 1.5 seconds, rounding off to the nearest tenth, to the nearest decimal.